formal presentation at this time, since it's almost 8:30 and leave time for questions. Tom Casey has agreed to facilitate this, and I want to say a word. I first heard Tom talk about Barron East project almost 3 years ago with the Chester County Library, and he was one of the forerunners in opposing this pipeline, and he's really devoted so much energy to this. We should thank him for that. Tom?
All right, I'm going to try to do this without the microphone. How's everybody doing tonight? Does everybody feel better now? As some of you have known me for several years, I've been looking at this project from its inception, from the first knock on my door, where a simple land agent said, "Oh, we're just looking to update our pipe or survey, and nothing to worry about, nothing to see here." And since that moment, my life has changed. My family's life has changed. So much so that I'm now running for office in West Goshen because I feel so strongly that we had the opportunity to do something years ago, and we did. September 2014, I helped to facilitate and push through our zoning ordinance. Unfortunately, the PUC and others made some alterations and changes, and we had this little thing known as Act 13, which took away the municipality's powers. But fortunately, the PA Supreme Court has given us back those powers. My goal is to use them. We have an ordinance in place in West Goshen, and the ordinance is very clear with regards to what can and cannot happen. Pipeline impact radius, the distance within which the potential failure of a liquid pipeline and or gas pipeline could have significant impact to people or property. Health and safety of the community. It also discusses any line used for transmission of materials such as propane, ethane, and butane. And it talks about where it can go. But it also does not say where it can go. And it is not allowed in residential zones in West Goshen Township. Now, West Goshen Township has decided that they don't want to fight that fight. A lot of people are worried because Sunoco's got billions of dollars. But I want to ask a simple question. If you and I get into a dispute, and I have $1 million, and you have $10,000, and our dispute costs $1,000, does it matter how much I have?
No.
It does not. This case, if we fight this, it has a limit. Our townships will spend money on countless things, countless endeavors, spend millions of dollars on things. The most important thing to me was my family and my community. That's why I went through this from the beginning. That's why I stood up and fought. And I was one of the first people to put a sign on my lawn, handmade sign, to say no to Sunoco. But it's not just Sunoco that we're talking about here. We are the third largest county in Pennsylvania for pipelines. The industry looks at those paths as highways. They want to get more product to market. Those rights of way in our new society, in the way our community has developed, their options are limited on where they can run these pipes. So if they do not try to utilize their current rights of way and figure out how many pipes that we can get in there. Some of you know Linda Farrell, Pipeline Safety Coalition. I remember going to her property when they were putting in two 30-inch gas pipelines, and they were stacking these pipes. So this is the reality. They can put them next to each other. They can stack these pipes. We could try to squeeze 4 pipes in a 50-foot easement if we have to get product to market. We have to be diligent. We have to make the industry do what it's supposed to do. Federal regulations and state regulations are not designed to protect us. They are the basis for the beginning of the process, but they're not the end of the process. We are the end of that process. We have the power to cite. Here, at least in my township, in West Goshen, our ordinance says you cannot put this pipe within the PIR, the potential impact radius, period. Now, what is that? No. So we have the ability to protect ourselves, and we should do it. Now, with that being said, I've been to these things, I've hosted these things, and you guys have a lot of questions. And we'd like to try to answer your questions for you. So, does anybody have a question?
Yeah. Here, there you go. The thing that I wonder about is you've got multiple townships that are being affected by this. What effort has been made to try to coordinate the different townships, thinking that maybe a collective effort would be much more powerful than small, isolated ones?
Well, what I could say on that point is, I've personally traveled to countless townships. They have to decide for themselves, and they decide based on what you want them to do. So you have to talk to your township. You have to talk to your officials. I've done it. We were able to get our township to pass the zoning. You sit down with them. Most of these people are willing to talk. You have to give them the opportunity to talk and ask the questions. And it's hard when it's a personal matter, when it's a personal issue, when it feels like you're under attack.
FaceTime me?
But they're willing to listen. You have to do it. You have to communicate with them. PSATs wants townships to have a coordinated effort. But the problem with that I have seen in other efforts that try to do that, is that it gives the industry only one fight to fight. If all townships adopt the very same ordinance, there will be some very intelligent, smart attorneys that will figure out how to beat that, and then they all lose. So if there's a coordinated effort, the industry wins. But if there are individual efforts that attack different parts of the problem, well, now they have a tougher battle. So.
Can I just add to that? I think it's important that the residents across different townships connect with each other. I think it's important that within your own township, you connect with other folks who are concerned about the same issue and organize together. And I think it's important that we all connect with each other up and down our different townships. It may not necessarily come from the municipal level. It needs to come from the residents working together and advocating together. That's why we're here tonight, from different townships coming here together.
Good point.
Has it been considered whether residents can put on the ballot a question as to whether they want their township to enforce the ordinances, something phrased properly? So get the people to vote that they want the ordinances enforced, that they conform, they want the budget to be allotted to it, they want to add another fund that could supplement the budget that's allotted to it. And vote in to force these townships who are afraid to spend the money to put it to a vote.
Yeah, but they have to have that ordinance.
Well, for example, they all have some ordinances.
In the defense of our East Goshen, right? Here's the thing: you can't force them to do anything. You can ask. They can work with you. But as my township solicitor has made very clear to my questioning on that point, the township chooses which ordinances they will enforce and which ones they won't enforce. So you can't force once they're elected, you work with people. You can't force them to do anything.
the ballot box.
So that's not.
And as far as a question and an initiative goes, it is possible to get questions onto the ballot, but that's beyond my realm of expertise. So,
Tom, just one other point on that. Hi everyone, I'm Sam, and I didn't get to speak tonight because we ran late. But just to step in really quickly, I think we're opening up a really big conversation here, which we shouldn't try and wrap up today, which is, right, the knowledge that our local elected officials can do something about this, the knowledge that, as in West Goshen, they are choosing not to, and then the question, what can we do to change that?
Okay, if you don't mind, let me interject. My name is Leo Sinclair. Most of you know me. I created a group back in 2008 called Safety First for East Goshen. Because of what's going on with Sunoco, I've been approached by many residents in the last couple of months. Why am I not involved? I had many things going on in my life that I could not get involved at that time. However, in the last month, I decided to open up the door to Safety First for East Goshen again. I have the website up. I'm working with these other individuals from their groups. I would like to see the people here in East Goshen form an organization that can work with this group and to work with our supervisors. These are not our enemies. These are our friends, okay? They'll tell you that their hands were tied. I think that as residents as a whole, we stand up together, we can untie those hands. Okay, we can influence both our local and state officials. So I'm asking everybody here today, please keep in mind that we have our own destiny in our own hand. These people took their destiny and did something with it. We haven't. For over 10 years, I've been going to township meetings, many times alone. And many times I wish there were residents here with me to see what's going on. And these board members will react if they see the room is filled. If the room's not filled, they'll just push on to the next agenda. Now, seeing this tonight from this perspective, it's difficult to keep your time down short. And I don't know how the board members do it sometimes. The bottom line is, we have to get involved in East Goshen. We have to organize with them. We have to organize with our own supervisors and say, enough is enough. We are individuals. What's at stake for us? What are the advantages for us in East Goshen? Because right now, Sunoco sees their advantage. We have no advantage. Everything's going against us. And it's time for us to stand up and say, enough is enough. I'm sorry. I just want to say that.
About how many jobs, permanent jobs are being created? I mean, how many permanent jobs are we being sacrificed for?
Can I answer that? Can I answer that question? So there are some studies that show that, well, first of all, there's Sunoco's commission studies, which show the jobs are off the chart. We're not really sure what all those numbers include, but the studies that I'm talking about are the ones that that our local legislators are looking at. Those are studies that demonstrate approximately 6,000 temporary jobs during the construction period. And then there's a much smaller number of permanent jobs. I've heard the number 35 before. Those are good paying jobs. One thing that the union members will tell you is that every job is a temporary job. So if you make that argument to the union, that's not going to go over very well. But I think the point that we always try to make is that it can't be a choice. You can't have this false dichotomy where the community has to choose between jobs and public safety. What is that? Would I ever take a job that would put other people at risk? I would never do that. So we need to have both. We need to have a strong economy. We need to have jobs growth. But if public safety is left out of that, then all of us are left out of that, and that's meaningless.